How are former officers, police officers, correctional officers treated in prison? Should they find themselves in there? Let's get into it. This is a good question. It's been getting asked more and more in the comments. In my 16 years, 11 months of incarceration, I only witnessed one officer in general population because up until that point and after, as a matter of fact, I was always told that any former police officers, law enforcement, correctional officers, judges, etc. were automatically placed in a protective housing unit, if you will. And probably for obvious reasons, not saying that they were bad people, good people, etc. But with a title like that and a job like that, etc., you're probably going to be stereotyped and targeted because, well, people just have resentment towards certain positions in society, especially if you're incarcerated. But there was this one particular time on a level 2 where an individual who was a former officer, former correctional officer, was in general population, would walk the yard, would sit out, watch TV, etc. He actually was respected, I could say, around individuals, even though he formerly wore the badge. Yes, people used to crack jokes on him, talk trash, all of that. And let's be clear, a lot of it, I think, was in fun, but some of it probably was some, snide remarks and trying to just ruffle him up a little bit. But nonetheless, overall, you could see him on the yard. We were on a level 2 at the time playing softball. He had no fear. He was working out on the weight pit, no issues. And I did, unfortunately, I'm not proud of this, witnessed them get into a fight on the rec yard. And at the time, it was common where you would fight directly behind the buildings because in some weird way there was a blind spot from the cameras. And unless the officer was walking around that part of the yard, they wouldn't see you. It was like minimum security or at least close to it. And dude put in work. And not only that, he got lumped up a little bit. He had the opportunity where he could have told he didn't and ended up going to solitary confinement for a period of time because he didn't. And the individual he got into a fight with didn't. So that gave him even more respect on the yard. It was a unique situation, and to be honest with you, I ended up getting transferred, and I never once again seen or heard of a former officer being on the compound. But I always look back at that, and it should be noted that he had a lot of people in the system. He came from a big family, and unfortunately, some families' names they're just prevalent in prison systems, and I should probably do a post about that further on down the line. But nonetheless, man, that's how correctional officers were treated, or former correctional officers, when I seen one incarcerated where I was at. But outside of that, like I said, 99.99% of them, from what I seen, went to a protective housing unit. Maybe different in different states. I'm not taking shots at nobody. I'm just telling you my story, what I've seen. Never glorifying prison. And as always, stay free. Peace.